And when they came to a field, Yotvu tachet ilana chada, and they sat under one tree. Amar Rabbi Elazar, and Rabbi Elazar said, Kol chad lema mila deoraita. Each one of us should say a word of Torah. Patach Rabbi Elazar v'amah, v'anochi Adonai Elohecha me'eretz Mitzrayim. This is a verse in Hosea. It says, V'anochi Adonai Elohecha me'eretz Mitzrayim. V'lehim zulati lo teida. And only know about me. That's a very strange verse that it says. I am your God from Egypt. What do you mean? I mean, God is all over. God was yesterday. God was before Egypt. Why are you saying that I'm your God from Egypt? Asher hotzeiticha me'eretz Mitzrayim, and it doesn't say that I brought you out of Egypt. Ela anochi Hashem Elokecha me'eretz Mitzrayim. And the Zohar says, he in the Eretz Mitzrayim, Ha'elahem Melech v'lo mikodem lachem. In other words, it seems that is when God became the king. And not before. No, before this whole incident of Egypt. It appears as if God wasn't there. וכתיב היום יעקב אל בניו הסירו את אלוהי הנכור אשר בתוככם, וכתיב ולקום ובנה לו בית אל ואתם את מארץ מצרים. So there's always bringing a verse from Jacob. Now Jacob was before this day of Sinai. So why are we saying that like God comes from Egypt? He's been there before there was even an Egypt. Ella. Min Yom Da'avi Yisrael B'Alma. From that day that the Israelites came upon the world, Lo Noda Lo Ishtamode Yichara de Kutsha B'Richu Ba Ba'aba Ba'ara de Mitzrayim. In other words, no one to feel, no one to connect to the presence of the life force of God. Only in Egypt. Why? Why only in Egypt? Because they were working under difficult conditions. And they were yelling to God. Lo ishtanu minimusa de lahon mi'almin. Okay. And that they never changed from the way their forefathers, like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And also, because when they were in Egypt, they saw, because Egypt, as we know, Egypt was a country of magicians. They were a country of wielding really a great control over the people. And the common Ikfinu Avatana. And therefore over there, because they lived under those conditions, that actually they should have been overwhelmed by the force of Egypt. By meaning the people who were there. People who were there were very strong people. They literally controlled the whole world, not with armies, but literally, they manipulated the life force of God to control, connected meaning, and they used it for their own purposes. אף על פי שלא היה כל כך בכבוד הקדוש ברוך הוא, לא היה הולכים אחרי מנהגי אבותיהם. Even though the Israelites at that time, before Mount Sinai, before the revelation of the 72 names, they followed, you might say, as Zohar is saying, they followed almost blindly. Almost blindly, because that's the way, like you see today, people follow blindly. They're following a tradition that started 3,400 years ago. They don't understand it. But why are they doing it? And that's true for many people. How many people change? How many people are brought up a certain way and will change because they see something else. They see something which is on a much higher, much broader scale. Even that's our difficulty today. Why don't people want to listen? I'm not talking about accepting the study of Kabbalah, but why don't they want to listen? Why don't they want to listen? Why do we have even ourselves? We have here Chaim Cohn's father, the physicist from Israel. I mean, an enlightened man, and he has that very important position where he is. And he cannot accept this idea of quantum. Why not? Well, forget about religion. People only accept religion. And the fact is that there are those who still continue, whether you're Reform, you're Conservative, you're Orthodox, but they continue the tradition, whatever form. Some less, some more, but they all continue in a tradition of 3,400 years. It seems that there is a power to that, whatever that power is. And the same way, physicists. There are certain elemental rules of physics, and they find it hard to turn away. Why? But if something else comes upon the scene, something else that comes your way, I mean, why can't you be open to it? What prevents the consciousness from shutting down? What prevents it from not going forward, but it must shut down and say, no, the consciousness that I know, the knowledge that I have, that is what has to prevail. And I can't listen to anything new. Why is that? Why is that? But this is what the Zohar is teaching us. There is a force. Sometimes it's used for, in the case of physics, that was the power of the Arab Rav. That was the whole idea of the golden calf. What was the idea? The idea was that the physical world as we see it, and with its laws and principles, those are immutable laws. That was the whole idea of the golden calf. And that along could come the mind, which we even say is 99% of every existence. Along comes the 99% when it's not.
Yes, Rav Madonna and Guy and you on the phone as well.
They are on the.
Yes. Okay, I'll put you in the speaker. Madonna?
Yeah?
Okay, I'll put you in the speaker that you can hear from the microphone.
Okay.
In observation.
Hello?
Did you hear them?
Can you hear?
Repeat again.
Hello, Madonna, this is Igor.
Hi, Igor.
Shout to the guy.
Did you hear?
I hear the rabbi.
Madonna?
That's you speaking.
Eitan?
Yes, Rav, she heard, Rav. It's
It's a bit distorted. It's too close, wherever it is. Pull it away or whatever.
הרב, כן, שומעים.
The Rob speak now?
Sure. I'll just repeat again for a minute
Now I hear it.
the idea that why does tradition have such a stranglehold on and it's been this way whether it's for good or for bad, whether the principles of physics, which are not immutable, that was the golden calf. The idea of the golden calf was that there's only one supremacy, and that is the physical reality. And what happened on Mount Sinai was the realization that this 1% is not the dominion that is to be reckoned with in this world, but on the contrary, the consciousness. And the consciousness. Hello?
Yes?
Hello? Who is this?
לא, הרב זה איתן, אני רק רציתי להגיד שבגודל שומע, הרב לא ישמע אותה.
Okay, בסדר. Right. So the Zohar says that even though the Israelites were so involved with the material in Egypt, why were they so involved? Because that was the power of Egypt. The power of Egypt was of such a nature that there is nothing more than the material. And those who control the material, control. And that there is no other form of control. And that's what happened on Mount Sinai. That this old tradition, that we assume, that whether it's the Christians who have a 2,000-year-old tradition, or the Jews who have a 3,400-year-old tradition, this tradition maintains itself. I mean, what is this power? What is this power? But that idea of tradition, not that I am opposed to tradition. I am opposed to tradition. Why am I opposed to tradition? Because tradition is supposed to tell us that because it's been done this way, this is the way it must continue. If that was the case, then if man never elevate himself above the ground, then we should never have invented the airplane. Should never have traveled to the moon, because tradition says this is the way it's always been. And obviously, in our day, we have seen the breakdown of this idea of tradition in every respect. Why? Because the days of the golden calf are coming to an end. The people are, that's what the Zohar is saying, the people are coming to not only the realization, but they're actually coming to a new level of consciousness that says, no, you've got to be free. You've got to be free from the shackles of what was in this physical reality will always remain and should always remain that way. is a giant step forward. But the Zohar said before that state of consciousness had only been achieved on one day. Only that day when the whole world stood on Mount Sinai. The whole world stood on Mount Sinai. But it was short-lived. It was short-lived. It lasted 40 days, and then along came the golden calf. And mankind again reverted back to not the free consciousness, the free movement of consciousness, which then caused separation. Because what was the purpose of the Erev Rav? What was the purpose of the anti-Kabbalists? Separation. Because once there's no separation, then there is unity, as the Zohar we read before, and the right away at the beginning. At Mount Sinai, God said, He spoke to everybody in singular, even though He was speaking to who knows how many millions of people. Yet He was speaking to all the peoples of the world in the singular. Why in the singular? Because in consciousness, the idea of time, space, and motion doesn't exist. We know even on our own mind. First of all, look at what's going on right now. I mean, here we have people from all around the world connecting to this moment in time. What's our difficulty? What's our difficulty? Certainly not time, certainly not space, certainly not motion. We're all acting here with one unified purpose: to bring to an end the chaos. Bring to an end chaos, which means, in a word, separation. So this is what the Zohar is trying to teach us. And therefore, even though when the Israelites were in Egypt, they didn't know about quantum. They didn't know about the light force of God that is beyond the limitations of time, space, and motion. They didn't know. But again, here, tradition served a worthwhile purpose. Because of the tradition of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, this tradition of these people, in a way, this is what they held on to. But what they held on to in the tradition of people was not the tradition of the physical reality, but on the contrary. They understood that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because they were referred to as chariots. What's a chariot? What's a chariot? They were chariots. So, as we explained, chariot is one who can be and exist in this physical level, this physical reality, and at the same time, like a saddle, be connected to an upper world. That's why it's called Meta Chariot. The chariot means it's like the seat that the rider on a horse sits. He's attached to the horse. This saddle also permits him to be disattached from the horse. In other words, he can be in two realms at the same time. That's why the Kabbalah chose this word chariot. That not enough after one dies, he's no longer connected to the physical reality, but on the contrary, there is this possibility of being connected to both realms at the same time. Ego? How are things over there? They show...
They just came in, a couple of them, and they told us that Arthur should have got the agenda, and the agenda was supposed to present first. So there's 4 hours. I guess they went to get more people. They want us to present our findings. Basically, they want to hear what we have.
I know. You remember what we discussed that? Is that right?
Exactly. Right, that's why I'm asking.
Okay.
Basically came in and said, we sent you the agenda of the meeting, but we are the maybe the facts, I don't know. And basically you tell us what you think.
Okay, so we see. It's wonderful. Well, first of all, it's wonderful because this is what we discussed 2 days ago. And that we said, this is what we have to avoid. This is what we have to avoid. Now, the light force, the Zohar, everything we're learning, look how we figured out exactly their strategy. And we didn't even discuss one word with them. Right?
Right, exactly.
That means, B'li'ah and Arad, the light force is with us. So he gave us the first sign immediately. Why should there be such an agenda? Why shouldn't it be a mutual discussion? Why should we be the first? They're the ones who have the information.
Okay.
They're the ones with the information. We would like to hear what the data and what their opinion of the data is, and then when all of this has been placed on the table, because if you people start first, don't you see, you're speaking almost like not connected to what they have discovered in the reality, and we would like to hear what they discovered in the reality. Do you follow my point? You see, that almost is like an exercise in futility. You know, it's like I'm a doctor, and you come in, you say, well, doctor, tell me, because we're the people with all the answers, right? Doctor, tell me what's wrong with me. And I say, wait a second. What am I, a prophet? What am I, some soothsayer? No, I got to hear what you people found. Tell me what's wrong with you. No, doctor, I want you to tell me what's wrong with me. Well, without an examination of your condition, or to not even to know what your condition is, I think we can
just we consider you want us to make a first statement. That's the first sentence.
Yeah, you will open up the first sentence like we discussed. It's so beautiful. Well, I'm so happy. I don't know, they may be even listening to this conversation, which, doesn't bother me because we're not saying anything.
I'm outside.
Oh, no, it doesn't even. No, but maybe we're on cells, You're on a cell, and so. But look how beautiful it is. All the four of us, understood this. Imagine we are prophets, but we're not prophets. It only for me was such a beautiful, wonderful feeling that the light is with us. I needed that sign, not that I had any doubts, but you like to see it, like my teacher used to say. He used to, tell the light force, look, light force, I know you're with us. Sometimes I like to see it on a physical level. There's nothing wrong with wanting to see signs on a physical level. Wow. This is so beautiful. And first of all, Arthur, are you on? He's with Alex there. Well, isn't it wonderful? I mean, and first of all, Arthur never got a memorandum. He never got it. Oh, they may have sent it to him, but maybe they sent it to Arthur addressed on. What is that? Yes? Hi, Arthur. Arthur, isn't that great? This is what we said they were going to do, right? Arthur, you never got a memorandum, did you? No. Of course not. Of course. What's that? Yeah, we know that they're nice people, and we're going to be so accommodating. But you didn't hear what I just told Igor. I'll repeat it again. We do have all the answers for them. But, we still would like to here the way they interpreted those same results, since they are closer to the results than we are. We only get the results from them. And therefore it would be most fitting and most appropriate and tell them only in your mind. And of course the life force says that's exactly what we don't want to do. Right? So it's going to be done the way we want to do it. But you don't tell them all this after, right? So who's the politician amongst the four of you? Huh? Well, one's got to be very articulate and explain it that way. That's all I'm saying.
We just got the results right now. So we got the results last week.
You got the results from...
So we could see we really didn't get a full result. It's really better since you already said with the new results. The data.
Right. We have data later than the 18th, right?
Right. We just got it now.
That's so nice of them. They are so accommodating. It's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah. All right. We know how they've been very accommodating. And so when is the meeting going to start? What's that? Okay, he didn't show up yet.
There may be some traffic tire. Yeah.
What's that?
A traffic jam.
Oh, he's got a traffic jam, huh?
He may be in a traffic.
Oh, he may be in a traffic jam? All right. We are coming soon. What's this man, Yehuda? 28. What do we have exactly as a time? All right. Anyway, we're soon going to have the time. Wow. Since we're all on one wavelength, so we're going to come to that time, remember? Guy, you remember what I spoke about that time? Most powerful moment of the day. Right? Olat HaShachar it's called, when the morning star goes up.
Right.
And so there is it's not so much as a disagreement, but rather, what's that? I can't find my watch. I have Mommy's watch. But you have a cell, another cell?
No, but I need to go.
These are exactly right.
Which one are you using? I'm going to go make sure that this is the website that has the exact time according to the atomic clock.
On your atomic clock. Yeah, we need that exactly, and we'll all meditate. We'll all meditate I'll meditate on the actual letter connection, and this will be, just to synchronize your watches, this will be exactly, in a minute, see, 28, 428. 428.
Okay, it's now 10, my work.
Okay, that's 15, it's the same thing.
I make it over right.
What's that?
You're here, right?
You right?
Yes.
Okay. You just, all right. Synchronize your watch. If for whatever reason that you are going in and you can't use the cells anymore, synchronize yourself at that moment in time. And that's when we... All right?
Okay.
Now, there is disagreement on when that morning star comes up.
Right.
There are some Kabbalists, astronomers, who say it's 428. There are some who say 447. So all of you should meditate, and we will be doing the same thing
Okay.
at those two times. 28 after the hour and 47 after the hour.
Okay, let me go out of the room, maybe.
What are we meditating on?
Okay?
Madonna, this is in a way
You have to go now?
the day.
Okay, all right. A lot of our philosophy.
Force of
Okay, that'll be good.
Oh, of course.
so it's
Of course. So the light ones is good for them and good for
the
us.
strongest infusion
That's
of
right.
light.
Okay, a lot of our philosophy.
That moment.
Okay, and we're going to continue studying here until the 28 after the hour.
Okay.
Okay.
All right? Okay, Atzlachas. Where's Alex? Where's Alex?
All right.
Oh, they're inside already.
Yeah.
Okay, Arthur. Atzlachas. Talk to you later.
Okay.
All right, that was pretty good timing. All right. Can you imagine?
Hello?
Yes.
Okay.
You cannot
Okay.
hear each other. You can hear the Rav. The Rav cannot hear you because he's
Oh.
mute.
Okay.
All right.
Well, Eitan, I'm going to go because I have to go wake up my husband to make sure
Oh.
he's the same thing.
That's pretty good.
Okay?
He's
pretty good.
not around. Maybe
That's pretty
give a
good.
little minute.
Leon Hara.
I have
That's
to go
pretty
wake
good.
him up.
Okay.
And therefore, the Zohar continues. It's very funny. I have to say, it's very funny. And the Zohar continues. You have the English Zohar of this week's reading. I'm reading now Pei Gimel, which is 83. And after this, ואחר כך ראו כמה ניסים וכמה גבולות, and inasmuch as they were totally controlled by the material, but because they held on tenaciously to the beliefs of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that the physical world, while it has its own rules, are principles that are subject to the world of metaphysics, the spiritual world, what we call the world of spirit. Spirit, meaning it does not have the limitations, it does not have the attachments to be governed by these rules of separation, which for us is the whole idea of time, space, and motion. It only exists for the physical body. It only exists for physical entities. Because the key word, time, space, and motion, the root of time, space, and motion, is the governance of separation. This is how the Zohar began. Remember, Mount Sinai, God spoke to the world as one, as if there was only one person, because they were all unified. What do you mean they were all unified? How could you be all unified? The only way you could become unified, and that was the greatness of what took place on Mount Sinai, was the fact that the consciousness, which can be one, just like all atoms are attached to each other. All atoms of people are attached to each other. It's only that physical flesh, the physical bones that make the separation. And now we're talking about consciousness. We're talking about something beyond the atom. Beyond the atom. Beyond the atom. Are you watching it for the air? I'm not watching. Are you watching it? You got it. Okay. Oh, all right. All of you who have the Marechet, who have the guidance system that I use, it's right on top of the 72 names. If you have the guidance system, take it out. Because those are the two connections that we can make each and every single day. What is known as the chariot that will permit us, like Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the chariot, to be physically in this world, but bring the force of the life force, the idea of consciousness, the idea of unity, the idea of one, to bring to bear over the world of the physicality. That is the connection we're going to make. That's the connection when you're up at this hour in the morning. That's the connection you're supposed to make. So, and then they saw all these miracles in Egypt, and after Egypt, plenty of the Red Sea. V'lacham HaKadosh Baruch Hu Lavodato. Then, and only then, it seems that's a prerequisite. How are we going to get the world to believe? Take a look at what's happened. Look at what's happened. We have scientists, Germans, Jews, Christians. They all cannot depart from their tradition. So what is going to make that change? Look at how the Zohar spells it out for us so beautifully. And he says, because only because they have seen the miracles, they have seen locusts and rip up tear apart a country. They have seen the water turn to blood. And they have seen the miracle of how the Israelites will transform that blood back to water. And all the other 10 miracles that they experienced, only because they saw. Imagine, that's what some people believe. Only because they saw the overturning, the physical overturning of the rules of nature, what we refer to as the rules of nature. Rules of the nature of the physical reality, only because they saw these miracles. And what does a miracle mean? It defies the rules of nature. That's called a miracle. And the Zohar said only because they experienced and saw. With their own eyes. Call ilu otot ugvorot ama va'anochi Hashem alatecha me'eretz Mitzrayim. And that's why it says, God says, I came from Egypt. And God lives in Egypt. I comes from this. So where do you come from? Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Oh, where do you come from? Oh, I'm from Detroit. What are you saying? You're saying a physical attachment. Right? You say, that's where I came from. What the Zohar says, God was saying, only there could they and did they recognize, the supremacy of that force which superseded the stranglehold, the dominion of the physical reality. 28? It's 28. Yes, it's 28.
Now we
28.
the combination.
Only one watch I have over here. It's 125. and something. Wait a minute, another one is 4:20. It's now 4:25. Have you got the exact one? Oh, you got the computer. Good.
Another 3 minutes.
All right. We're just trying to get the atomic time exactly at 4:28, and we will have the golden opportunity. Okay? So he says, "V'nigla aleim alayam," in other words, the splitting of the Red Sea. And they saw Zivya Kara Elyon Shelo Panim Bepanim. And they saw face to face. This was not an illusion. Maybe it was an illusion. But, you can only fool so many people, for a minute, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. They saw with their own naked eyes the overturning of all of the principles of the physical reality. And only then would they be prepared to come face to face with the light force of Mount Sinai, which was sealed, unfortunately only for 40 days until the anti-Kabbalists got back into the act. That the opportunity for connecting with this force, the light force, which was not governed by the rules of the physical reality, because there was such unity going on over there. And with all of our chevra now, and what the way, sir? What a unity with it. What a unity. They were up practically all night discussing how important and how successful they will be if there is complete unity from beginning to end. Not 1 ounce, not 1 second of any display of disunity. How are we doing? I got 4:28 on 1 clock already. 1 minute? Okay. What's that? Okay. You have 1 minute? Well, how many seconds? 50 seconds. Okay. So, in other words, that's why God says I came from there, because that was the only place. So the same idea is let's not fool ourselves. People say I believe, and I've always said, only since I came into Kabbalah, I believe in God. Oh, I believe this. Oh, I believe that. Oh, I have total faith in blah, blah, blah. The answer is, until push comes to shove. 10 seconds. All right. Go ahead, you.
10 seconds.
5, 4, 3, 2,
1, 0.
Now.
Amen. Amen. What a blast off. What a blast off. Wow. Okay. All right. I want to thank everybody from all around. Thank everybody from all around, and we shall see what the Zohar just told us. We are going to see the miracles, and therefore we will never have any change in our consciousness. So, good morning to everybody. Good morning, good night, and with the wonderful and happy news that we shall be receiving today. God bless us all. Amen. Good night, everybody. Good night, Madonna, guys.
Yeah.